We are rolling.
Welcome back, everybody. Pleased for you to be here. It's John McNulty again on round 2 of the logical reasoning and the ever topical LSAT, getting us into healthcare. So let's dive right into question 2. And just as we did with question 1, first thing we're going to do is break out the paragraph into the facts into what our known universe is, then address the call of the question, and from there try to create some provisional answers for us to increase our accuracy, reduce the amount of time spent on the question. To that end, the argument presented by the testers is 4 elements essentially. The first is that average stay at Edgewater is 4 days, the average stay at University Hospital is 6 days, and that the rates of recovery at Edgewater and the rates of recovery at University Hospital are similar for patients with similar illnesses. And from these 3 elements, the testers conclude that University Hospital can decrease its average stay without decreasing the quality of care it provides to its patients. Now, how does that work with the call of the question, which is asking us, what are the vulnerabilities, what are the weaknesses in this argument? And when we analyze this, I think it's good to mold these 3 factors, these 3 variables that are presented to us: average stay, rate of recovery, and quality of care. Now, one of the first things that popped out to me is it has a rates of recovery, and as it related to average stay, but then it jumps right to quality of care. It provides no explanation at all. So my first provisional answer is, why does RR equate to QC? What's that connection there? It wasn't provided. The second one that popped out to me is the fact that the rates of recovery discussed are only for similar patients with similar illnesses, essentially a subset of the patient population at Edgewater University. And the factors 1 and 2, and the fourth, the conclusion, are about entire patient populations at the hospital, 4 obviously just for university. So if you think about it, like a Venn diagram, you have the rates of recovery are in here, and you have UH and Edgewater, but we don't know how many patients are similar between the 2. We don't know if you can actually extrapolate from the rates of recovery onto the global population of university and their patients. So we have an extrapolation problem, if you will. So with these 2 provisional answers in mind, let's move on to A to E and see if they match any here. Now answer A says equates quality of care at a hospital with the patient's average length of stay. This fails for 2 reasons. The first is that it's overly general. It states a hospital when it doesn't refer to only University or Edgewater, which the argument and the facts confine us to. So, and then the second reason it fails is that it indicates and states that there's a direct relationship between average stay and quality of care. And that's not what the argument is saying. The argument is saying that there is some relationship. If A was true, then a decrease in average stay would also decrease quality of care, as would happen in a direct relationship. And that just simply is misstating the argument in a nuanced way. So A does not work. B, for an attorney that has intentionally written in misleading or vague things, this impressed even me. When you come across a very difficult to translate answer, it's good practice just to move on, see if one of the later answers match one of the provisional answers you came up with or is stronger, and just select one of those and move on. The testers are trying to waste your time. It's a test strategy that I think will put you in good stead, and this is a great illustration. So let's move on to C. And C actually addresses this second provisional answer because it doesn't take, it says the argument doesn't take into account that university tends to treat different illnesses, which gets to the point that this could be a very small sample size here, and we can't extrapolate out to the whole general population of patients. And because we have this answer as a provisional one, I think we should tuck it in our back pocket and then look at D and E. And D is one that actually does get to a vulnerability or weakness, but it overstates itself. And because of that, it fails. And D essentially is saying that length of stay is never relevant to recovery rate. The argument here actually says that there is some relationship. It's not trying to make a direct relationship, or it's not trying to say that they're not relevant to each other. It's just saying that, because they have these similar rates in different average stays, that there might be some cause that could be taken there. It just overstates itself, and isn't, because of that, it just does not address a vulnerability or weakness, doesn't quite apply to what the argument is. And E, similarly, does not address a vulnerability or weakness. In fact, it actually provides an explanation for why university has a higher average stay because of a patient preference. So I would select answer C. I wouldn't go back to B. The rest of them don't really attack a vulnerability or weakness head on like C does, and that's why it's the right answer. And I'd pencil it in, move on to the next questions. If anything remains unclear, mcnulty.johnny@gmail.com. Not going to give you my phone number. We don't know each other quite well enough yet, but please feel free to hit me up if you need some further explanation on this question or question one. All the best. Have a great night.